Ever wonder about those quiet giants, the technologies working away behind the scenes,
Mm.
powering global commerce without us really noticing?
Mhm.
Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of those, the global conveyor belt market.
A truly foundational piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. Our mission today is to do a deep dive into the very latest market research. We want to see not just where this essential industry is expanding, but maybe why. Why those patterns reflect deeper shifts happening across manufacturing, mining, logistics, well, everywhere, really.
And for this, we're leaning on some excellent data. It's from Cognitive Market Research's report, Global Conveyor Belt Market, Trends and Projections.
A solid source.
Definitely. It gives us that crucial data-driven perspective. Helps cut through, the noise and really understand what's happening in this, often overlooked but vital industry.
Okay, so let's start big picture. Zoom out. This market isn't just big, it's immense.
It really is.
In 2021, the global sales revenue, over $5.2 billion. dollars.
5,239.7 million. Yeah.
And it's not standing still. Projections show it hitting over $6.2 billion by 2025.
6,200.74 million. That's the number for 2025.
And then climbing past $8.6 billion by 2033.
8,683.96 million by 2033. That's a significant jump.
That is some serious movement for belts.
Well, what's really illuminating here, I think, is what that means in terms of growth rate. It translates to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR, of 4.3% globally.
4.3%. Okay.
Now, 4.3% might sound, I don't know, modest, but in a foundational industry like this, think of it like the hum of a massive factory floor just constantly, steadily expanding.
Right. It's not flashy tech growth, it's industrial backbone growth.
Precisely. It signifies really robust, reliable, long-term expansion. It points to sustained industrial investment across pretty much every major sector you can think of.
Okay, let's unpack this then. A 4.3% global growth rate sounds strong, sure. But where is that growth truly concentrated? Which regions are really driving this? Are there any, surprises in the data?
Yeah.
Any surges or slowdowns that maybe challenge what we'd expect?
Yeah, good question. So the report breaks the world down into 6 major regions.
Okay.
And right away, Asia-Pacific clearly dominates. It accounted for $1,713.38 million back in 2021.
Wow, over a third of the market.
Exactly. And it's showing strong growth, too. The KGR close to 4.9%, 4.869% to be exact.
Okay, APAC leading. Who's next?
Then you've got North America and Europe, both substantial markets. North America was about $1,320.4 million in 2021.
Right.
And Europe was 1,053.1 million. Both are growing steadily, around the 4% mark for their KGRs. North America at 4.102%, Europe slightly lower at 4.036%.
So solid, mature growth there.
Kind of the workhorses.
Oh, yeah.
Then there's South America, $424.4 million, growing a bit faster than Europe, actually, 4.168% CGR.
Interesting.
And the Middle East, $377.2 million in 2021, but showing particularly impressive acceleration with a KGR over 5%, 5.043%.
Okay, Middle East punching above its weight class in terms of growth rate.
Definitely want to watch.
Yeah.
And then finally, Africa. It's the smallest market, $351 million in 2021, and lagging significantly in growth with a CAGR of just 1.665%.
Wow, quite a difference there. So yeah, the immediate picture is pretty clear then. There's this geographical split happening. You've got Asia Pacific and the Middle East really pushing forward fast, while Africa is showing much slower growth. And then North America, Europe, South America, they're demonstrating steady but maybe more mature growth patterns.
That's a good way to put it.
So what does this tell us? I mean, does this just reflect GDP, or is there something else driving these different speeds?
Well, that's a critical point. Take Asia Pacific's lead. It's not just its current size, right? That 4.9% growth, it highlights this relentless pace of infrastructure development, the sheer scale of manufacturing coming online. It really is, the epicenter of global industrialization right now.
And if you zoom in on Asia Pacific, the report shows some incredible country-level stories. China, obviously, is the giant.
Absolutely. $534.7 million in 2021, projected nearly double by 2033, hitting almost $1 billion, $997.7 million. Its CGR is strong, 5.223%.
Huge. But you mentioned acceleration. What about the fastest growers?
Right, so India actually has the region's fastest CAGR at 5.887%. It's projected to grow from about $230 million to over $360 million.
India really stepping up. Any other standouts?
Oh, here's a bit of a surprise, maybe. Taiwan. It shows an incredibly impressive core AGR of 6.259%.
Over 6%. Wow.
Yeah, growing from about $44.5 million to nearly $93 million by 2033.
That's not just growth. For a smaller advanced economy like Taiwan, that's kind of explosive. What could be driving that? Is it specific industries, maybe high-tech manufacturing, needing advanced logistics, or?
That surge in Taiwan is particularly interesting. It really suggests, like you said, maybe highly specialized, high-value manufacturing, or perhaps significant upgrades and automation within existing facilities. It feels like targeted strategic investment.
Right, not just general expansion.
Exactly. And speaking of acceleration, let's circle back to the Middle East. That overall 5.043% key GR we mentioned.
Yeah, the second fastest region overall. Here's where it gets really interesting, right?
It does. Because within that, you see countries like Saudi Arabia posting a 5.789% TGR.
Strong.
And the UAE, also very strong at 5.707%. It points to that deliberate push for diversification, building infrastructure beyond just oil and gas.
Makes sense. Although, is it all high growth there?
Well, interestingly, no. The report notes the rest of Middle East category actually have the lowest AGR in that region, just 0.571%. So it's not uniform growth across the board there.
An outlier, okay.
Yeah.
But still, that overall regional trend is powerful. Now, let's not forget the traditional heavyweights, North America and Europe. Still massive markets.
Absolutely essential parts of the global picture.
North America, you said $1.3 billion in 2021, growing at about 4.1%.
That's right. And within that, the United States is obviously the giant $939 million. But it's noteworthy Canada is actually growing faster with a CGR of 5.229%.
Oh, interesting. Faster than the U.S.
Yeah, which might hint at specific industrial projects, maybe resource extraction expansions driving that pace up north.
Okay. And Europe, similar size, similar growth overall.
Very similar overall picture. Just over $1 billion in 2021, growing at 4.036%. Germany is the key market there, $238 million, reflecting its, strong manufacturing base.
Makes sense.
And the UK also shows a pretty healthy CEGR, similar to Canada, actually, at 5.072%.
Okay, solid contributions. But wait, I remember seeing something. What about the rest of Europe? Didn't that have a really high growth rate?
Yes. Good catch. That segment, rest of Europe, sees the highest regional CEGR of all, an astounding 8.701%.
At 0.7%, that's huge. It's jumping from like $23 million to nearly $50 million by 2033.
Exactly. It really makes you think about those maybe smaller emerging European economies quietly building up their industrial muscle, doesn't it?
It does, like finding a hidden engine room. What could be driving that? New EU members investing, specific sectors taking off.
The report doesn't specify the exact countries driving that surge, but it definitely indicates significant new industrial projects or major infrastructure investments kicking off in those areas. It's a segment to watch closely, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, quickly then, South America and Africa.
Right. South America, we saw a solid 4.168% CAGR overall. Within that, Colombia shows a slightly higher growth rate, around 4.77%. So steady performance.
Okay. And then Africa. We noted it's much lower overall CAGR, just 1.665%. That really stands out compared to everyone else.
It does.
Nigeria and South Africa are the biggest markets there, right? But even they are showing slower growth, like 1.3% and 1.8% respectively.
That's correct. Nigeria at 1.297% and South Africa at 1.796%. Still growth, but definitely slower compared to the global players.
So what's the assessment? Why the more subdued pace in Africa? Is it different investment priorities, economic headwinds?
Yeah, it's a crucial point. The report suggests Africa's slower growth in this specific sector, conveyor belts, largely reflects, varying stages of industrialization and infrastructure development across the continent.
So still building foundations.
Exactly. While there are definitely pockets of growth and significant potential, the continent as a whole is still building out some of that foundational industrial capacity. Investment priorities might be focused elsewhere, or they might face different economic realities compared to the rapid expansions we see in, say, Asia or the Middle East right now.
Right. Okay, so stepping back from the specific numbers for a second, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these numbers, they aren't just about conveyor belts, are they? They're like a mirror reflecting broader trends.
Absolutely. They reflect industrialization patterns, big infrastructure projects, the push towards automation, all of that.
And the different growth rates, Asia Pacific versus Africa.
Yeah.
It really highlights these different stages of economic development, maybe different investment priorities happening globally.
Precisely. It's a window into where capital is flowing for industrial development.
So what does this all mean? How does understanding the the nuances of a market like conveyor belt, something that seems so specific, maybe even mundane. How does that help you, the listener, connect with these bigger global economic shifts or maybe even spot opportunities?
Well, I think it connects directly. Because these numbers show where the physical movement of goods is expanding, where factories are being built or upgraded, where resources are being extracted more intensely. That underpins so much economic activity.
It's the physical manifestation of economic plans.
Exactly. So understanding this market helps you gauge the real-world progress of industrial strategies in different parts of the world.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've really seen today is that the global conveyor belt market, it's not just huge and growing steadily.
No, it's dynamic.
It's dynamic. It's like a living map of global industrial shifts. You got the incredible acceleration in Asia Pacific and the Middle East,
Yeah, the real hot spots for growth.
contrasted with the steadier pace in the more established markets like North America and Europe, or the slower climb we see in Africa currently. It paints a remarkably clear picture.
It really does show where the world's industrial engines are roaring and perhaps where they're still finding their top speed.
So maybe a final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah, this raises an important question, I think. While they're often unseen, kind of behind the scenes, how much do these fundamental technologies like conveyor belts truly dictate the pace and direction of global trade and industrial progress over the next decade?
Mm.
And maybe where will their next big innovations emerge? What will the next generation of moving goods look like?
That's a great question to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of conveyor belts.
Our pleasure.
We hope it's maybe made you think a little differently about how something seemingly everyday, seemingly mundane, can offer such profound insights into the intricate workings of our global economy.